Did you hear of Arthur Wharton in the beautiful game? They roared for Arthur's lions, but the battle was all in vain. For a prince from the Gold Coast,
But Rotherham have an extremely, and I just can't stress it enough, special place in the history of football through Arthur Wharton and the black presence at the very beginning. 1889, the year that he came to Rotherham to play for Rotherham. I mean, it was just the most remarkable thing for him. And of course, at the time, we wouldn't have really been unaware that that made him the world's first black professional footballer. It was almost like by default. But for Rotherham, I mean, that is the most incredibly special, beginning of the black presence in sport in this country that you could possibly hope for, particularly in football. Yeah, I mean, he had kind of celebrity status, I guess. He made his name at Darlington. He went on to play for Preston. And Preston, of course, signed him as a semi-professional. So they get a claim to making Arthur professional. But it's Rotherham Town, as you were then, that actually signed him as a full professional. And the day that happened, that was history. And that can't be repeated. That's the first time.
Sing hallelujah for Arthur. Sing Arthur's name again.
I assume back then it would have been so difficult because we were living in a different world at that point. With the Euros, stuff that's just gone by and social media and that, it's clear that there is still an issue. It's not as bad as back then, or it's probably behind the scenes now, but there is still an issue, yeah. For like younger players like myself who grew up in England, we've faced adversity and finally made it through. So similar stories, but different at the same time. But it's lovely, as I said, it's a beautiful story to know that you came through all that adversity and signed a professional contract here.
Here in Rotherham, we're proud of the diversity of our town. We're proud of our football club too. And we're proud that it was here in Rotherham that the first ever black professional footballer played a match over 130 years ago. Arthur Wharton signed for Rotherham Town in 1889. He was predominantly a goalkeeper, but occasionally would have a foray on the right wing. And he was a fantastic player. He was tipped to play for England, but sadly wasn't allowed to do so, predominantly because of the colour of his skin. It was a sad sign of the times that he lived through. The theme of Black History Month is proud to be, and here in Rotherham, we're proud to be part of Arthur Wharton's story.
Sometimes our world produces moments of wonder, stories that should be told for generations. True greatness. But our story today has been lost in time. An incredible life with incredible achievements, yet a name forgotten. The first ever professional black football player. The first ever fastest man in the world. A cricketer, a rugby player, a cycling champion, a trailblazer. One man who never stopped. This is the story of Arthur Wharton. Born in Ghana 155 years ago, Arthur moved to Darlington, aged 19, to train as a missionary. A young black teenager out of place in the north of England was about to pave the way for black athletes across the world. Arthur was spotted in goal for Darlington FC, the coolest customer that has ever stood between the goalposts, and moved on to play for a number of pro clubs. In an FA Cup semi-final team with Preston North End, and in the top flight for Sheffield United. In 1894, our Arthur made history. No man of his heritage had ever turned pro. When not between the posts, Arthur would play on the wing. In old, heavy pigskin boots, his speed was unmatched. So much so that he ran 100 yards in 10 seconds flat, becoming the world's first official fastest man on the planet, breaking records and breaking barriers. His world record stood for over 30 years. Adding professional cricket and professional rugby, this man of pure excellence didn't stop there, pushing boundaries in sports and in race, and winning a cycling championship in his spare time. Sometimes our world produces moments of wonder, stories that should be told for generations. True greatness. So remember the name, Arthur Wharton.
Arthur Wharton is number one.
Arthur Wharton is number one.
Arthur Wharton, number one.
Arthur Wharton is number one.
Arthur Wharton is number one.
Arthur Wharton is number one.
Arthur
Wharton is number one.
Arthur Kwame Wharton is number one.
Arthur Wharton, number one.